Running a country, I imagine, isn't an easy job, even under the best of circumstances. In Long Live the Queen, that job is bestowed upon a recently bereaved 14-year-old girl, and the country in question, Nova, is a declining power which has certainly seen better days. Our protagonist, Elodie, starts out the game with no skill or aptitude for rulership whatsoever. And it's up to the player to pick her classes to teach her the skills and knowledge she'll need to placate her vassals, stand up to foreign threats, put down attempted coups, dodge attempts on her life, and ultimately survive and remain in power until her official coronation. In that endeavor, one of the most important things to consider is Elodie's emotional states. That is because her aptitude for learning the various skills in the game is heavily dependent on the mood she's in. Say, for example, she's angry. In such a state, she might lack the patience necessary to learn to play an instrument. On the flip side, though, she could probably channel her rage productively into weapons training. And that is not a negligible effect her mood has on her ability to learn. The difference between the stat growth for a skill she's in a good mood to learn, and one that she's in a particularly poor mood for, is a factor of 3. That being said, what if we gave Elodie the most tortuous education possible? What if we only let her take classes she was in a bad mood for? Is it possible to beat Long Live the Queen while always in a bad mood? So what exactly are our rules here today? Are we just going to keep Elodie depressed the whole game? No, the rules of this challenge have nothing to do with keeping Elodie in a specific mood. What we are all about today are the mood bonuses, or more accurately, penalties. Each of Elodie's 8 moves gives her a penalty towards learning a few skill groups. What our rules entail today is that when we send Elodie to her tutors, we can only make her learn skills she has a mood penalty for. If we can somehow keep Elodie alive to her coronation day, in spite of handicapping her learning like this, it will be a challenge successful.
This is not what Mother would have wanted. She wouldn't have wanted to die and leave me.
During the first week of the game, Elodie is quite depressed on account of the recent death of her mother. Her father tries to comfort her, but depression or not, the kingdom won't run itself, and she's got classes to attend to ensure she'll be up to the task. Specifically, classes that her depression will make miserable. Those classes include those which have to do with athletics, royal demeanor, and conversation. Now, conversation is especially hard hit by Elodie's depression, having a -2 penalty as opposed to the usual -1 penalty. That's actually too much even for us to tolerate, as a -2 penalty would make it so that Elodie learns literally nothing in the class, wasting the time slot for the week entirely. Luckily, our rules don't state that we have to make Elodie attend the class with the highest penalty available, only that we must only attend classes with penalties. So the decision for what to learn today really comes down to taking either some athletics or royal demeanor classes. For now, we'll focus on royal demeanor, taking composure classes in both Elodie's morning and evening time slots. All she achieves this week is learning some breathing exercises. Then for the event, Elodie's cousins come for a visit. This cheers Elodie up a bit. After that, we get to make one of the most important decisions in the game: how we'll spend Elodie's weekend. The importance of these weekly weekend decisions cannot be overstated, as it's her weekend activities that have the greatest effect on Elodie's mood. Elodie's mood is based on these bipolar sliders. A given point towards a mood will move that slider one notch towards the mood you got a point in. It's worth noting that each mood has an opposite on the other end of its slider. So as an example, cheerful and depressed are on opposite poles of a slider which they share. If we make Elodie more cheerful, that will also make Elodie less depressed. Whatever mood Elodie is in is determined by whatever slider is the most extreme, or further from the center. If 2 moods are tied in how extreme they are, then the leftmost one takes precedence. Manipulating Elodie's moods will be paramount for our challenge today. Since each mood only penalizes a couple of subjects, it'll be essential for us to ensure she gets to moods that are useful to us, so we can teach her skills that will keep her from getting assassinated or deposed. Some of the weekend activities are conditional upon timing, current mood, or skill proficiency, such as talking to Charlotte, which will no longer be available once she's no longer visiting, or attending church, which has the effect of tempering Elodie's moods by bringing down one of her more extreme emotions. In addition to those, we have some other activities that can reliably influence Elodie's mood in a specific way. These include playing with toys, which makes Elodie more yielding, lonely, and cheerful; sneaking out, which influences Elodie to be more willful and lonely; walking in the gardens, which causes Elodie to become more lonely and cheerful, attending court, which allows Elodie to become more yielding, depressed, and pressured, exploring the castle, which makes Elodie more afraid and lonely, and visiting Elodie's mother's tomb, which afflicts her with more fear and depression. This week we have Elodie talk to her father, which makes her a bit more lonely. Going into week 2, her overall mood is still depressed though. The perfect opportunity to work some more royal demeanor skills.
Oh, what a beautiful necklace. Something sparkly will make me feel better.
Elodie's mood switches from depressed to lonely this week, thanks to receiving a gift. Well, that's fine though, as being lonely presents Elodie with penalties to faith, intrigue, and royal demeanor. That means we can keep working Elodie's composure, elegance, and presence. And you know what? I think we might just try to maintain this mood, at least for a while. She used magic. It drained her strength. She thought it was harmless, and it wasn't. Eventually, her heart just stopped. That's why I don't want you involved with it. The royal training has been going alright. As a result, Elodie's composure has reached 22.3, her elegance is at 24.8, and her presence has made it to 32.0. These are all out of 100, by the way. Some in Elodie's court have suggested she learn magic, but quite frankly, I don't think that would be a productive use of her time.
I don't know much about factories or trade. Would that really be worthwhile?
Hooray! Elodie has unlocked a new outfit, the coronet. Outfits are useful in this game because they boost a group of skills by 10 each when they are being worn. In this case, royal demeanor skills. You unlock outfits by getting to 25 in each of the 3 skills in a group. Also, I should probably bring up right about now that Elodie is failing loads of skill checks. Like this one to fund the invention of the printing press. And I was looking forward to propagandizing the populace. Luckily, none of Elodie's blunders have proved fatal. Yet.
You are trespassing on our lands. You will withdraw your troops at once. Only then will we have peace.
This week, Elodie faces what may be the most important event of her reign thus far. The negotiation of a withdrawal of Ixionite troops from the occupation of a portion of Novan territory. Going into the negotiations, the skill checks aren't exactly looking promising. She failed a Novan history skill check, and a foreign affairs one. But just because you have no idea what the historical context of a dispute doesn't mean you can't try to bluff/intimidate to get your way. Unfortunately, Elodie's court manners aren't exactly up to snuff for such a ploy.
My soldiers are poised to destroy you. Withdraw now.
But her presence! That's a different story. Elodie manages to extract a full withdrawal from Ixion without shedding a drop of Novan blood, nor spending a penny of the Novan treasury. Well done, Elodie.
I am not marrying you. I'm only 14.
Elodie's loneliness has been getting out of hand as of late. Sure, being lonely has been fine thus far, but Elodie is actually getting rather close to maxing out her royal demeanor skills. We'll need to pivot to training other skills soon, and with that, likely pivot to another mood. Sitting in on court sessions ought to do the trick. And might as well start at least a soft pivot now. The intrigue skills seem interesting enough. Let's start having Elodie spend half of her class time on intrigue skills now. Also this week, Elodie's sort of botched turning down a marriage proposal from the Duke of Sedna. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite her.
I'm not afraid. I'm going to be the best parade leader ever.
This week brings with it the Festival of the Good Lady, a potential opportunity for Elodie to wow her subjects with her elegance and presence we've been having her work on for so long. There could be a chance of assassination at such an event, but what's the point in having her build those skills if she doesn't take the chance to use them? Her maxed out elegance leads to quite a successful parade, if I do say so myself. All the nobles in the domain are here to see their queen. Now that the entertainment for the common folk is out of the way, it's time for the real event, the grand ball for the nobility. Here it's Elodie's nearly maxed out presence that wows the attendees. One of the dukes even publicly thanks Elodie for her handling of the Ixionite occupation. Things seem to be going great for Elodie.
I need to know what the other nobles are up to, and whether anyone is plotting behind my back.
This week is the week that Elodie completes her royal demeanor education. All 3 of those skills are maxed out now. I was thinking that we need to change her mood to pivot to learning different skills, but honestly, pursuing this intrigue stuff further seems like a pretty decent idea. So we'll keep Elodie lonely for now to keep working on that. And speaking of intrigue, let's get some spies, keeping an eye on those pesky nobles, eh?
At least that way I won't get stuck with an old man.
The intrigue study has been, well, lonely. But hey, Elodie has unlocked a new outfit from it, the catsuit. So that's what she wears now. No, it's not a phase, alright? On a slightly more serious note, a death amongst the nobility has put the crown in the position of selecting a regent for an underage duke. A tragic and delicate situation, certainly, but perhaps an opportunity to bring one of the realm's duchies closer to crown influence by betrothing Elodie to the future duke. Ah yes, what brilliance indeed.
I think he's still afraid of me.
This week Elodie tries to reach out to her betrothed a bit more. I can't necessarily say they're hitting things off great, but it could be worse. Oh, also, Elodie is afraid now. Luckily that still gives her a penalty to intrigue, so she can keep studying that no problem. And she really is making good progress on it. Her skill levels are now 71.2 in internal affairs, 73.7 in foreign intelligence, and 41.6 in ciphering, when including the effect of her outfits. We might have her pivot soon, and if she stays afraid, we've got the options of weapons and military, which also have penalties from being afraid. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, though.
Then the royal treasury will pay to keep the people fed.
Speaking of marriage, a spurned suitor sure is quite the nuisance, isn't it? It seems that Sedna has opted to open economic hostilities against Nova with some tariffs. We haven't spent much so far, so hopefully the royal treasury can help the people through this unforeseen tribulation.
A lot of things can happen on the road.
After attending church, Elodie is no longer so afraid. Now she's just depressed. That's fine, we'll have her work some athletics now. Starting with a bit of running. In other news, Elodie has been invited to a young duchess's birthday party. It could be dangerous to travel there, though. We'll have Elodie stay home.
Chocolates!
The last few weeks have been very uneventful. It's been a decent opportunity for Elodie to keep working on her depressed athletics in peace. And you know what? Why not fight against the monotony with the tournaments? That'll happen next week. For now, though, it seems that the Queen has received a gift of chocolates. Oh, are those skill checks? Odd. Production plus trade failed. Court manners failed. Dogs failed. Composure success. Oh, thank goodness.
I don't feel like candy right now. Maybe later.
Thanks to Elodie's amazing composure, she opts not to eat the chocolate right away. Gotta watch that royal waistband, am I right?
I guess I'll just watch from my tower.
The week of the tournament has arrived. Elodie could compete in one of the events, but abstaining is probably the safer choice, so that's what she does. Also, turns out those chocolates from last week were poisoned. Good thing she had the composure to not eat them. Do your best, and Nova will survive. Terrible news has come our way. An invasion is coming from across the seas. We scramble what forces we can to repel them. Elodie's only skills of note are her royal demeanor, intrigue, and athletics. Hopefully that'll prove enough.
Why take that risk? You're winning the war!
The battle at sea did not go well. Additionally, the Novan army failed to hold on land, and now representatives from those invading Shanjians have arrived to negotiate the terms of Novan surrender. Things almost couldn't be going worse. Surprisingly, the King of Shanja himself is among the diplomatic envoy, and his proposal is interesting to say the least. It is well known that Nova is ruled by lumens. As it happens, I too possess the powers of a lumen. I propose a formal duel. My powers against yours. The winner takes control of Nova. The loser dies.
But I'm not a lumen.
Saving it for the coronation, were you? Such a pity that you'll be unprepared. Well then, go and find your crystal. Becoming a lumen is a very simple matter. Then we can have our duel.
What's the point? You know I can't win. Why don't you just kill me now?
Because that's not the game. You want to save your people, don't you? I want to fight a lumen. If you refuse, then the war will continue. I'll sweeten the deal. If you meet me in a formal lumen challenge, I'll call off the invasion, even if I win.
Really?
I swear it by the gods. Nova will be free and safe.
Why take that risk? You're winning the war.
It's not your land that I want. It's your crystal. To gain your power, I'm willing to wager my own. Shall we begin? Well, I suppose right about now, it would be great to have learned at least a bit of magic. That's what all this lumen stuff is about. Unfortunately, with or without magical aptitude, it seems that this duel is our only real choice. Maybe it was too optimistic to think we could get Elodie to survive through this challenge. But I suppose at least she can die a hero.
Then I must.
No, not my little girl. You want to fight the lumen rule of Nova? Fight me. Leave her alone. What's this? Jocelyn, Elodie's father, volunteered himself to duel the Shanjian king in Elodie's stead. It's not even a contest. the Shanjian king achieves victory effortlessly, and with that victory, has killed Elodie's father. And now the Novan power is mine, and you even get to live. Now kneel and kiss my hand. It's at times like these that Elodie's spectacular composure pays off. Attacking would be unwise, but Elodie is not about to bend the knee to this heartless barbarian.
That was not our bargain.
You're a cold one, aren't you? Very well, have your little victory. You have so few of them after all. And with that, the Shanjian invasion was turned back. But at what cost?
It's important to ensure the stability of the domain.
Not much of note happened in the weeks after the invasion. And then before we knew it, the fateful day was upon us. Elodie's coronation had finally arrived. And though it wasn't exactly the happiest path to get here, the fact remains that we did it. We beat Long Live the Queen, while always in a bad mood. So yes, this is another successful challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. Admittedly, this one was a bit different from the usual fare, but don't you worry. If all pans out, I've got a Kirby challenge planned for the next one. So, please like, comment, and subscribe if you wish to see more from me, and until next time, I have been CMeecraft, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.